Sometime in the late 1870s, miners started a camp mining mica, a type of silicate, in the Black Hills of South Dakota, and eventually discovered that there was cassiterite ore, a source of tin, at the site. Cassiterite was valuable, and in 1883 the mine built a mill and a smelter. By then the town was called Etta, and the mine smelted a huge 1,200-pound block of tin and then used that to try to attract investors. The discovery of cassiterite in the Black Hills sparked some enthusiasm, and a group of potential New York City investors sent a young 26-year-old New York City attorney to the Black Hills to investigate the title to some properties that were owned by an eastern mining interest. The Black Hills are actually an isolated mountain range filled with craggy granite peaks, and somehow one of those peaks ended up being named after that city slicker attorney. There are a couple of competing stories as to how that happened. By one story, the lawyer, entranced by the beauty of the Black Hills, was always asking his driver what every hill and peak was called. As most of the Black Hills had never really been named, the driver would simply make up names as he went. When the lawyer pointed out one particular peak, the driver, out of ideas, said, "Well, we'll just name it after you." Another story says the lawyer liked the Black Hills so much that he returned each year to hunt, and after several years and having made several friends, he commented that he came back so much that they should name a mountain after him, and so they did. Whichever story, the locals started using his name to refer to a nondescript 5,725-foot granite peak not far from the original location of the Etta mine. Although the name was not officially recognized by the United States Board of Geographic Names until 1930, more than 40 years later. And there it may have sat, an obscure mountain with an obscure name, were it not for a man named John Gutzon Borglum. Borglum was a world-renowned sculptor who had been commissioned to take on a titanic project, and the lonely mountain named after a New York attorney, with its flat southeast facing giving maximum exposure to the sun, was a perfect fit for the project. That lawyer, by then very successful in New York City, made a $5,000 contribution to the project, the single largest individual contribution for the massive public work. That seems a small price to pay for immortality. The peak, originally named Six Grandfathers by the native Sioux and officially called the Shrine of Democracy, is world-renowned, and millions of people each year visit the mountain named after Charles E. Rushmore. Tin mining wound up to be a bust in the Black Hills as there was relatively little ore there, but the Etta mine discovered spodumene, which is a lithium ore. The largest crystal of spodumene ever found in the world was found at the Etta mine. Mine operations finally ceased in 1959, and only the foundations of the mill and smelter are there to remind us of how Mount Rushmore got its name. Charles E. Rushmore passed away in New York City in 1931 at the age of 73. If you enjoyed this History Guy short, then feel free to click that like button, subscribe to our channel, and check us out on Patreon, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and our merchandise on teespring.com.